Hello everyone, welcome to this session. Today is a new chapter. So we'll start discussing about the transportation of materials in living things. So this is a new chapter. So far in our previous video, we were discussing about the balance of nature. Uh, Previously we discussed about the food chain and the food web diagrammatically. Also how the food chain and the food web can be represented diagrammatically or by using diagrams. So today let's move on to this new chapter that is transportation of materials in living things. We'll start with the introduction to the transportation of materials in living things. So simply we are going to see the concept of the transportation of materials in living things. Now we know that the ancestral organisms, take an example, amoeba, nutrients, for example, oxygen and food and waste products, for example, the carbon dioxide can simply diffuse into or out of the cells from the surroundings. So these ancestral organisms, they diffuse various things taken or substances such as the nutrients and the waste products uh, into or out of the cells from the surroundings. Now, in this case, but in multicellular organisms, take an example, the humans and trees, many cells are very far away from the body surface, hence the transportation system is the one that is very much required for the exchange of the materials. So here comes that transportation of materials is very essential, specifically for these multicellular organisms as one of the living organisms. Now, organisms, they require the transport systems so as to carry out the various life processes. So various transport systems are required just to carry the materials that are very essential for the various life processes required for the living things or these living organisms. Now, these life processes, they include such as the nutrition, respiration, excretion, growth and development, movement, reproduction, and coordination. So all these life processes, they require these uh, transport systems just to carry out all these processes. Now, for these life processes to take place, the transport of materials is very much inevitable. It means that it must occur. It must occur for the life processes to take place. Now, materials are transported either from the environment into the organisms or simply from one part of an organism to another, and it can also be transported from an organism into the environment. So that's how the transportation of materials can either be done, take an example, from the environment into the organisms or simply from one part of organism to the another, and simply also can be carried out from organism into the environment. Now, take an example. Nutrition organisms, they take in food substances that they need to produce energy, grow, and carry out the other life processes. So the organisms, they neutralize the various substances as the essential materials needed from the environment just to produce energy and in order to grow and carry out various other life processes. Now, these food substances must be taken in from the environment. So the food substances that are required as source of nutrition for the organisms must be taken in from the environment. In the same case applies to the reproduction, which requires the movement of the gametes. Here we're talking about the sex cells from the sex organs to the area where fertilization occurs. So this is all about the concept of the transportation of the necessary materials throughout the living organism. Now, therefore, transport is very important for the survival and the existence of the living things. So here we get that this transportation of materials is very essential for the survival and the existence of the various living things. Now, moving on, let's see the importance of the transportation of materials in living things. So discuss what are the necessities or just what is the importance of having the transportation of materials in living things. Starting that the transportation of materials is very important for the survival and the development of the living organisms. If transportation never existed, then no life on Earth could be possible. So here we have that this transportation materials is very essential for the survival and the existence of life in our Earth. Now, the following is an outline, the importance of the transport of materials in living things. So here are the outline of the importances of this transport of materials in living things. Starting with the first one, it facilitates the removal of the waste materials from the organism's body, the excess of which could harm an organisms. So it enables to say to deposit, I mean to throw away or just to remove all waste materials that are no longer needed for the organism's body. So this which whereby this excess of these kind of waste materials they could harm the organisms. So the transportation materials help to remove these uh, harmful substances, or known as also the waste materials from the organism's body. So that's the first importance of the transportation materials. The second one is that it ensures that essential materials or essential substances like oxygen, nutrients, water, hormones, and the mineral salts are supplied to the cells and tissues as required. So the transportation of materials is very much necessary for the ensuring various essential materials that needed for the cells and the tissues that they require, such as maybe oxygen, nutrients, water, hormones, and the minerals are just supplied adequately without any problem. So transportation materials helps these various essential materials to be carried out to the necessary uh, components or necessary parts of the living things. The other one is that it enables the essential substance to move from one part of the body to another. Take an example of food manufactured by the photosynthesis in plant leaves is transported from the leaves to other organs of the plant for the use of storage. So the transportation of materials is very much essential to move these essential substances from one part of the body to another, as we've seen the example of the photosynthesis, whereby after being the food that is manufactured in the plant leaves is carried out to other organs of the plant from the leaves through this process of the transportation of materials. So I hope that's clear. Thank you for listening, guys. We've seen the new chapter that is transportation of materials and living things. We've seen the concept of this. That is the simple introduction, and later on we've seen the various importances of the transportation of the materials and living things. I hope that's all clear, and thank you.